And we are back, y'all. Go ahead and hit that like button for us. It helps us out, and it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you this content. Now, y'all, Fani Willis, as we all know, she went after Donald Trump for the 2020 election interference case, right? She launched this whole indictment, a RICO indictment against Trump, and this whole thing has absolutely fallen apart. Just like the YSL case, but probably even worse, because Fani herself has now become the target of scrutiny, and her Trump case hasn't even gone to trial yet. Now, if you've been living under a rock, let me tell you, Fani Willis was recently disqualified from trying the Trump case.
11, I'm Cheryl Preheim. We begin with breaking news that upends the long-running Fulton County election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump. The Georgia Court of Appeals just released a case-changing ruling. Investigative reporter Zach Merchant with the 11 Alive political team has a copy of that ruling. Zach, break it down for us. What does it say?
And we should emphasize, we just got this ruling about 60, 70 minutes ago. This is very fresh. This is the big takeaway. In a 2-1 decision, the Georgia Court of Appeals ruled that Fulton DA Fani Willis and her entire office must be disqualified from their prosecution of Trump and his co-defendants over what they called an appearance of impropriety. The ruling is just the latest development in a long saga that began back in January when it was revealed that DA Willis shared a romantic relationship with former special prosecutor Nathan Wade. Willis eventually acknowledged the relationship, but argued it never impacted their work on the case. Defense attorneys, however, alleged it created a conflict of interest and pushed for the removal of the DA and her office. And today, the Georgia Court of Appeals agreed. The court found that a romantic relationship Willis shared with former special prosecutor Nathan Wade created an appearance of impropriety that could only be cured by removing her from the case. Here is the key part of the court's decision. The court wrote, quote, "While we recognize that an appearance of impropriety is generally not enough to support disqualification, this is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings." The court went on to say that the disqualification of DA Willis means that her entire office must also be disqualified. We should note we did reach out to the Fulton DA's office for comment. So far, they have not responded.
All right, so this is the beginning of what will be a very extensive conversation in terms of what happens next and how we got to this point. Zach, thank you for breaking down that breaking news.
So if it's going to go forward in any fashion, it will have to be with another prosecutor, not Fani. Now Fani has just gotten more bad news. See, by putting herself in this position, she has made herself the subject of her own investigations into the way she handled hiring her boyfriend, Nathan Wade. At least he was her boyfriend at that time. We don't know where they stand now. So she hired Nathan Wade. She's paying him out of the government funds, but then he's turning around and it seems like he's spending some of those funds on her to go on vacations and do the types of things that boyfriends and girlfriends do. So this has exposed Fani to all kinds of open records requests, to all kinds of subpoenas. She is going to be in the hot seat now. She's been trying to avoid it, but watch this news report of the latest on this.
Thanks for joining us here on ANF Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakran, and topping our stories right now, major breaking developments in the case involving Fani Willis' prosecution of former President Donald Trump. Well, a judge has now ruled that Georgia lawmakers can subpoena the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis as part of their investigation into alleged misconduct. Ms. Willis has refused to cooperate with the investigation, claiming that lawmakers did not have the power to compel her testimony as they look into her actions surrounding her election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump. But Fulton County Superior Court Judge Shakur Ingram disagreed. She's now given Willis until January 13th to respond to her ruling. Willis has already said that she will take her case to the state Supreme Court and fight that subpoena. Of course, we're going to keep following all the latest developments with that.
So as you can see, Fani is in the hot seat now. It is very unlikely that the Supreme Court is going to say Fani's above the law. This is going to be the Georgia State Supreme Court. Fani is going to have to answer for these allegations against her. Now, I'm about to play a news clip from about a year ago. Y'all, Fani, she's probably going to have people inside of Georgia going after her, as we already see now. And as I predicted or alluded to in my previous video about Fani, it's quite possible that the federal government will come after her as well. So Fani is in a very, very tough situation. She can't go after Trump, but now Trump can go after her. Watch this from about a year ago, this news.
Georgia's Republican governor and Secretary of State refusing to help Donald Trump try to overturn the 2020 election. But other Republican state officials, they are furious with the indictments announced by DA Fani Willis. A Republican state senator, Colton Moore, wrote to Governor Kemp this week demanding a special session for lawmakers to review Willis's actions, something that is not likely to happen because it is rare for a governor to do so. Otherwise, 3/5 of the Georgia House and Senate would have to vote for it, and Republicans would need, by the way, Democratic votes to reach that threshold. Moore is also calling for defunding Willis's office and for her impeachment, quote, if appropriate. Want to bring in Georgia Democratic State Representative Shay Roberts to talk more about this. Representative Roberts, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Yasmin.
Any possibility Democrats would get on board with this?
Of course not. I really have no concern about Senator Moore's request. It doesn't even look like he has very much support from his own party. And as you said, Governor Kemp is probably not willing to call one as well. What I do find extremely concerning is the attempt to paint DA Willis's actions as politically motivated when she's doing the job she swore an oath to do. 2 separate grand juries, after reviewing the evidence and listening to the testimony, have found probable cause to charge Donald Trump. And 41 criminal counts, 91 across 4 different states. We aren't talking about one jurisdiction or 1 or 2 charges. He has been charged with 91 criminal counts. So, of course, it would be improper for DA Willis to charge simply for politically motivated reasons, but that's not her. It would be equally as wrong for us not to hold Donald Trump and his associates accountable, because it would violate her sworn duty not to prosecute if there's probable cause, and it would violate standards of professional conduct for lawyers. And so, just because he is an elite politician, I think there's enough distrust in the government right now as it is. And if we don't hold those in high power accountable, I think that's only going to continue to erode the rule of law and the public's trust in us.
Here's also what's happened in your state, an effort by Trump supporters in the state of Georgia to change the pardon rules, right? We have reported multiple times now the governor cannot pardon in your state, does not decide, I should say, on pardons. But we also have learned that his office, along with other top Republican lawmakers, are not on board with this, of changing the pardon rules. All that aside, what does it say about the support the former president has in your state, considering the backlash we have heard so far with this indictment?
Well, I think what you're seeing in Georgia is that there is a division even among the Republican Party. And some of my colleagues have expressed significant concern over what's going on with Donald Trump and him still continuing to be the leader in the primary. And so we have more extreme conservatives that are in charge of part of our state. And then we have, I think, the more reasonable Republicans. I do appreciate that Governor Kemp and Speaker Burns have said the 2020 election was not stolen. I would also love to hear them say that they're not going to support the person that they're criticizing as much as they are. But we'll go leave that alone and see where we end up on Election Day.
I also quickly want to ask you about this new Georgia law creating a commission that can review complaints over prosecutors if something illegal is involved. This was actually signed by, into law, I should say, to create this commission by the Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. Do you believe that Republicans would try and push this commission, this law, when it comes to DA Fani Willis?
So it's interesting. I was on the committee, the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee, that deliberated this particular bill. And I don't necessarily think that it was implemented specifically for her. There has been some general criticism of Democratic DAs that they are not prosecuting all crimes. And really what I think they've been expressing is violent crime is up. And so they're using their prosecutorial discretion to charge more violent crimes and maybe let small amounts of marijuana are just not the priority. So that was the justification for the bill that we were told. But there are 3 ways already under our Constitution and our laws to impeach a district attorney or to remove a district attorney. And so this is just an extra layer, expensive for the taxpayers, layer of government that I do think will target some of our DAs. I hope that they would not do that. And the ironical thing is that they're sitting here saying that she is prosecuting a crime, and so they want to impeach her, remove her. But she's doing exactly what they said they wanted that bill to do, to force them to review each crime and charge. So I just think it is kind of interesting that this is the criticism.
Georgia State Representative Shay Roberts, thank you.
So what do you think? Do y'all think that Fani is going down, y'all? Do you think she's going to see a criminal trial from Georgia prosecutors or from federal prosecutors? As I said in the last video on this, y'all, Fani is in a very difficult position right now. She's going to appeal to the Georgia State Supreme Court. They're not going to, this is my prediction. They're not going to give her immunity, y'all. This is about accountability for how she's using public funds. So I don't think she has a leg to stand on. And it seems to me like the more she struggles against this, maybe the worse it will be. But y'all let me know. What do you think? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.